Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Kalihi Valley Neighborhood Board number 16. Today is Wednesday, January 10, 2024, and it is now 7:01 p.m. Rules of speaking. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to click the raise hand icon, and when recognized by the chair, to address comments to the chair. Speakers are encouraged to keep their comments under 2 minutes, and those giving reports are encouraged to keep their reports under 3 minutes. Please ensure your microphone is muted unless you are speaking. Please state your first and last name for the record before moving into the comments or question. Written testimony may also be submitted via email using the contact information listed on the Neighborhood Commission Office website. Please silence all electronic devices now. Note, the board may take action on any agenda item. As required by the State Sunshine Law, HRS Chapter 92, specific issues not listed on this agenda cannot be voted on unless properly added to the agenda. First up, we have our city monthly reports. Honolulu Fire Department.
Good evening, Captain Joe Hackbarth, Engine 32, Kalihi Fire Station. Here are the statistics for the month of December. We had 1 structure fire, 1 wildland brush fire, 2 nuisance fires, and 1 activated alarm with no fire. Emergencies, we had 78 medical emergencies and 3 motor vehicle crashes or collisions. Safety tip for the month is about lithium-ion batteries. Lithium-ion batteries supply power to many kinds of devices, including smartphones, laptops, e-scooters and e-bikes, e-cigarettes, smoke alarms, toys, and even cars. If not used correctly or if damaged, these batteries can catch on fire or explode. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions. Only use a battery and charging cord designed for the device. Replace cords that are damaged, frayed, or sticky to the touch. Charge the devices in a cool area with good ventilation. Do not keep charging the device battery after it is fully charged. E-scooters and e-bikes should only be charged outdoors. All devices should be placed on a hard, non-flammable surface when charging, never under your pillow, on your bed, or on your couch. And store batteries away from anything that can catch fire. And that's the report for the month of December. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Captain. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the board virtually? Seeing none, thank you very much, Captain.
Thank you very much.
See you next month. Next, we have the Honolulu Police Department.
I'm Lieutenant Keone Hong from the Honolulu Police Department, representing the Kalihi Police Station. Going over the stats for December, there were burglaries, there were 2, motor vehicle thefts, there were 4, thefts, there were 5, and car break-ins, there were 4. The total calls for service in this area was 672. If there's any questions, I can answer them at this point.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the board for the Honolulu Police Department? Mr. Franklin.
Good evening, LT. LT, last DP, the other lieutenant stated that he would update us. This deployment pinned on 3 robberies that occurred in our area in November. He had no information on it in November, but he said he would get back to us. Do you have any updates on that?
Let me check real quick. I can do a quick search since I have it up. You said there were 3 reported?
Yes, there were 3.
Oh, it was probably October then, right? Because it was
No, it's November. I have the incident numbers if you need them.
Okay, I'll take the incident numbers.
The first incident number is going to be 231101-0456.
Okay, let me
The
check
second incident number is 2311. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
The second one is 231106-2037. And the third one is 231028-1265.
Okay, let me check the first one. See what comes up. That first one looks like it was a weapons call by Kay's Fish Market, but the disposition was no written report. The initial call came in as 4 to 5 females fighting on the roadway, saw someone which held what looked like a long knife, but it wasn't ultimately classified as a criminal case for that first one. I'll check the next one. And that one was on November, the first one.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, this second one, no criminal case generated, but it came in on looks like November 6th at 21 marked, but that was in a different area. It wasn't in this area of responsibility. But anyway, looked like arguing. Somebody possibly had a machete. Officers arrived and they couldn't find anyone in the area, so they didn't have a written report. And then I'll check the last one. This last one looked like it occurred on October 28th. And this one looks like at Kalihi Valley Homes. Came in as a group of about 15 males fighting. One of them appeared to have a golf club. But that one again, the parties dispersed. No one made a criminal case, so no criminal case was generated. For those.
Thank you very much, LT.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any more questions from the board for the HPD? Mr. Rojas.
LT, I have a question on, let's say, for example, if you saw someone pulling out a knife and it's machete, if I witness that and I report it to the police, is that what is the consequences on the charges? Based on, let's say, for example, because I see a lot of guys who's hanging out down at the Case Market, they carry pocket knives, but is there an extended configuration as far as like if you have more than so many inches of blade showing in the public, for example? Is that something that you can report? I mean, machete is big, right? So is that legal to carry around on the street? I mean, if you're a farmer, I know, like if you're in your farm, you can carry a machete because you're gonna use it for chop, plants. Or...
That's the answer right there. It's the means. How are they using it? If they're using it in a threatening manner towards someone, then it constitutes as a terroristic threatening. And in the case they're using what considered a dangerous instrument is something that could cause serious bodily injury or death, then it would be a felony. It's a terroristic threatening in the first degree. But if they're just carrying it, there's no law carrying a machete. Yeah, and then I believe there are constitutional, I guess, court orders going on with the types of knives. So like how you ask the length of the knife or the type of knife. Right now, daggers, switchblades, those types of knives are illegal, but I know there are constitutional court cases that are trying to reverse those because what is the difference? I guess is the argument on the switchblade versus the machete. You know, the switchblade is so much shorter, although it's activated by a spring. The machete has a longer reach. You know, carrying it itself is not a crime. It's the means used that would constitute the crime.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, I see a lot of youngsters, a group of young men, like on the high school level. When
Yes.
they get together, they kind of like I don't know what they're doing with a machete, but they're carrying it, and I think I don't know what's allowed in our public, carrying a
Yeah.
machete.
Yeah. So now if the scenario is a little different where it's juveniles, then there are different restrictions for juveniles. Yeah. So if it's an adult versus juvenile, because juveniles carrying those things, there might be some status offenses or even criminal laws that restrict them from carrying those items. Even like a marsh pens, right? Those um, graffiti implements, they call it. So deadly or dangerous weapons would also constitute, but there are definitions of what is a deadly weapon in the HRS. It's like brass knuckles, nunchucks, things like that. But that's just off the top of my head. But like for knives wise and adults, there's no real restriction besides the ones I talked about, the switchblades, the daggers, which is a double-edged knife. But those are going through litigation as well. But yeah, it's normally the means used. That's what we kind of worry about is how did they use it? Did they threaten it? Threaten somebody with it? And if they did, then it constitutes as a crime.
So it has to be an act, basically.
Sorry, I missed that.
So basically, it's they can carry it. They can
Yeah.
show, but it has to be one act. In order
Yeah.
for you to claim,
Oh,
like write a report or anything like that, because we do. Let's say, for example, we're doing our neighborhood security watch, and then we see sometimes they flashing knife like like maybe about longer than 6 inches coming out of their fanny bag. That kind of like give me. I mean, it feels
Yeah.
scary, but
If they're like if kind of depends the definition of what you're saying flashing means, but if they're trying to use it in an intimidating manner to cause fear, then it would constitute as a terroristic threatening because it's the means and the intent, right? But like if they just have it maybe on a belt holster or something like that, then it
Right.
wouldn't necessarily be a crime. So it's always the means. So yeah, if you're walking on the neighborhood walks and people are what you use the word flashing and causing you guys to have fear, call the police. Please give a good description of the person. Try to meet with them, a police officer if possible, so you can point them out. And then if a crime does constitute, you can be a witness to prosecute to go to court. Because that's the main thing too. A lot of these calls are anonymous and then there's nobody there to meet. So it's hard for us to take something to court that there's no complainant. But if you do feel fear, then you could be the complainant, especially how you described it. You're just on your guys' neighborhood walks and they're flashing their knife. That would, I would say, constitute as a terroristic threatening because of the intent. Yeah.
thank you, LT.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Any more questions from the board for HPD? Seeing none, any questions from the community? No. I have one question, Lieutenant. Can you give us an update regarding the fireworks on New Year's Eve or even
So
before and after?
yeah, I kind of anticipated a possible question like this. So I looked up the stats. There were 48 calls in the month of December, from December 1st to the New Year's Eve in this area. But I don't believe any citations were issued by patrol. I know earlier in the month, our patrol officers did recover, I think, 200 pounds of illegal fireworks, but it wasn't in this area of responsibility, but it was still in our district, Kalihi. But yeah, I sounded like the fire captain relayed that there wasn't real structure fires, which is fortunate. But yeah, for our, it's kind of, I guess, a normal. I was off on New Year's Eve, but it seemed like the norm. There was some illegal activity going on, but it's a little difficult for officers to catch them in the act, especially in marked vehicles and no injuries that I know of in our area.
No injuries in our area, and there were no citations either.
Yeah, when I tried to look up any citations, I couldn't find any for the New Year's Eve.
Okay, thank you very much. Any more questions for HPD? Seeing none, thank you very much. See you next month.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the Board of Water Supply, Ms. Iris Oda. Iris, are you here? I don't see her. Okay, let's move on to our residents and community concerns. Meeting participants may present their community concerns at this time. Note, due to state sunshine law, concerns not listed on this agenda may be presented, but no board action can be taken. Items brought up may be placed on a future agenda for discussion or action. Any residents' concerns? Do you have? Go ahead.
Oh, okay. That's very stuff. But hello. Hello. So my name is Cardenas Pintor, and I don't really have a concern, but I actually do want to connect a lot because I am from the Kalihi Palama Neighborhood Board. And my New Year's resolution in terms of neighborhood board is to connect more with Kalihi Valley because as Simone said, I believe we're all Kalihi. I think, yeah, and we need to connect more. We need to understand what we're all going through and be there to support each other. So I hope that we work together as a community, as one. Mahalo nui.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Of course, we need to work together. Not only Kalihi, but our neighboring community as well. Thank you. Any more community concerns? Seeing none, thank you very much. Let's move on to our city elected officials. First up, we have Mayor Rick Blanjardis representative, Bandmaster Clark Bright.
Aloha, Chair. Aloha, members, community. Happy New Year. Hope everybody is doing well in this new year. First, a couple announcements from Mayor. I did put the online information in the chat. So he has a newsletter which mentions a nice message from Mayor. Also, the 2023 in review. Look at the city services by numbers. A new off-leash dog park opens in Salt Lake, and then the big award for the city. So again, you can find the website online in the chat. Also, from the Neighborhood Commission office, they are hiring neighborhood board assistants to engage in public awareness for community support. Neighborhood assistants help coordinate with neighborhood board chairs and produce written reports to members of the public. Send your resume to nco@hulu.gov. That also is in the chat, or you can call 808-768-3710. Okay, moving on to department issues for follow-up. There were several. The first one was in regards to safety vests. Can NCO provide them? Yes, it is possible to provide security vests. However, before expending funds, NCO would like the board to make and pass a formal motion requesting this expenditure. Then NCO will work with the board to determine quantity, size, and other details. So yes, that is possible. Next one was from DTS. This involved a homemade no parking sign. What should residents do if a neighbor creates a place, their own no parking sign fronting their home? From DTS, it says residents should contact the Department of Transportation Services and provide a specific street and address in order for DTS to conduct an investigation. Resident did place a concern, but a location was not provided. So if that's desired, please contact DTS and provide an exact location. Mahalo. The next one, also DTS, is in regards to pedestrian safety. The request was to investigate possible pedestrian safety measures for crossing along Kamehameha Fourth Road from North School Street to Au Street. The crosswalks in concern are not at an intersection with the stoplights. And the resident inquired if rapid flashing beacons or raised crosswalks could be installed. From DTS, the team will evaluate if raised crosswalks or rectangular rapid flashing beacons are warranted along that stretch of road. The study will include a review of the area's traffic collision history, a speed survey, and site inspections. If the roadway meets the criteria for a raised crosswalk, we will prioritize these locations and either program for their installation or request assistance from HDOT, the Hawaii Department of Transportation, to implement them. However, please note that this process may take some time as we have to ensure that our decisions are based on sound engineering principles. DTS will inform the board of their findings by June of this year. Continuing on, there was a concern for HPD. A child was reported naked walking along Hoftailing and the intersection of Alpuni Street on Monday, November 6th. So from HPD on that day, a miscellaneous public report under HPD incident, an incident number was generated to document that the child was found by officers and a neighbor. The special needs child, who was not injured or in any distress, was returned to her parents. The last one, again from HPD, involved a neighborhood dispute for a situation involving a neighbor who parks in the no parking zone with history of vandalizing the sign. So the neighbor gets multiple tickets, but when can you tow? So officers are allowed to tow vehicles if they are within an active tow-away zone, blocking a fire hydrant or driveway, within a bus stop, and if the vehicle is a traffic hazard. Other parking violations are usually cited and not towed away by officers. It was noted again that the constituent did not respond to inquiries regarding the location of the parking violations or whether the location is a tow-away zone. So if that is further information is desired, please contact HPD and provide an exact location for them to assist. And Chair, that's all I have. I'm open for questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the board? Mr. Franklin.
Good evening and happy New Year, sir. My question
Good
on the
evening.
parking is the mayor gonna help out HPD in this situation because HPD states that you can get 200 tickets on your car and they can't tow it. In every other major city, they states that if you have 5 or more parking tickets on your vehicle, that it can be towed, which keep this out of the way because this would help out the residents and it would generate millions of dollars for the city. And it will also correct the behavior of the people parking. I mean, if you have to wait 365 days till he registers his car before the police can act. So I want to know if the mayor plan on changing that law that anyone have more than 5 tickets, their vehicle can be towed. Because if that occurs, they got to pay the 5 tickets, they got to pay for storage, they got to pay for impound, which will teach them a lesson. So, I mean, I don't know why we don't have it in this city, seeing how the money it would generate alone would make it substantial, and it would also correct their behavior.
Thank you.
That's a good suggestion. I have an issue in our area, something similar as well.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Franklin.
I think we can bring that up to our council member and maybe he can introduce a legislation regarding that matter. Okay, any more questions from the board for Mayor Rick Blangiardis representative. Any questions from the community? Go ahead, Mr. James Song.
Good evening. Happy New Year. My
Happy
name
New
is James Sung. I'm just wondering, how can we get the bus stops on Kalihi Street repainted? So people know what area not to park. Because when the buses come up, they don't pull off to the side. They stop in the middle of Kalihi Street. So you got to stop and you got to wait for them in a lot of these areas. And my second question is about putting in no parking signs. I've been trying to get at least a no parking sign from 3 to 5 on Numana and beginning of Numana Road. How do I go about doing that?
Thank you, Mr. Sung. I think for both situations, it might be good to provide exact locations for them to do probably a research to ensure that that would need to be done, both for painting and for adding a no parking sign. You would probably have to, again, give a report to DTS or even DFM if it's no parking sign, or even HPD, just to provide the information first, and then they'll go out and do a check on what you are requesting for that exact location, and then they'll get back to you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any more questions from the community for Mayor Rick Blangiardis' office? Anyone virtually? Oh, Mr. Yap, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to thank the mayor and the Royal Hawaiian Band for participating in Kalihi Business Association's parade this past Christmas. So thank you for support and the encouragement you guys been to us, and thank the mayor for showing up and being the Grand Marshal.
Well,
That's
Mr.
all.
Yap, we want to thank you for all the work you've done, and also how you have a vested interest with your father, who was involved as well. But it was an honor to be there, represent the city, and the mayor had a great time as well. Congratulations to you, Mr. Yap. Thank you very much.
And just a heads up, we have a debrief on the 22nd at 5 o'clock at the Kalihi Union Church for the parade and stuff like that. So if anybody that participated in the parade can show up and help us revise and help us plan for next year. Thank you.
Mahalo. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was fun parade. So let's do it again next year. And thank you for having us as well, Mr. Yap.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any more questions for the mayor's office? Seeing and hearing none, thank you very much and see you next month.
Aloha. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Council Member Tyler Dos Santos Tam's office, Miss Lynn Onderco. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Chair. Happy New Year, everyone. I have a very brief report. I am happy to report that the Parks Department has reported that we'll get 2 replacement LED lights for the legacy lights that are over at Kalihi Park. So it'll be much brighter and add to safety there. Also, please save the date for a town hall on January 30th at Kalihi Elementary School. So council member will be co-hosting with other elected officials of the district and stakeholders. Lots of good reports and an opportunity to get feedback from the community. Again, that's January 30th at 6 p.m. at Kalihi Elementary. Lastly, I dropped, forgive me, the second link that I dropped in the chat is the accurate one for his January newsletter. And I'm going to briefly just talk about some legislation that's moving forward into 2024. Please, if anyone has any questions or would like to engage with testimony, we encourage you to reach out to our office. We have Bill 21 relating to the housing code, specifically to facilitate office to residential conversions in the downtown area. Bill 40 will be relating to the transit construction mitigation fund. So that's specifically to help the Dillingham area small businesses that are affected by rail. Bill 44 relating to false statements, specifically by monster home developers, helps to ensure accountability from those developers. We got Bill 57 relating to game rooms, and at that town hall we'll have updates on the progress with our enforcement and also that legislation. Bill 58 relating to authorized personnel, specifically to help with the game room enforcement, and there's a Reso 23/2028 that's related to interdepartmental cooperation on game room enforcement. So all of that is in his newsletter. You can find all of his newsletters online. I'm going to put my contact information in the chat. I just want to circle back with board member Franklin. I would be happy to work with you on some suggested language for legislation related to parking enforcement. I know that chairs would be excited about that too. So I will email board member Franklin and make sure that we can collaborate on looking at maybe what those other jurisdictions are doing and bringing it to the attention of council member for possible introduction. Other than that, I do, on behalf of council member, want to say thank you for including him in the holiday parade. I know that he had a great time, and it was a wonderful event. So mahalo nui. I'm open for questions if anyone has anything for me.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Any questions from the board? Mr. Franklin.
Happy New Year. My first
Happy New
question,
Year.
Lynn, is on the two signs for, since we're going to Kalihi School, the two safety signs for the speeding signs for Kalihi School. Do you have any update on those?
We don't. Yeah. So sadly, the way that it goes is that we get the message that says that the request has been, accepted, and it's generated a service or a project number. And then when the resources are available, it's going to happen. So at least that they've acknowledged, and it's in the queue.
Well, okay, because these are for the kids. I mean, it tells us to slow down both ways on Kalihi School. Second question is, they promised us motion lights for the park at night and cameras, so that's out the door?
Yeah, so they did. I mean, it was never a promise. It was just the logistics of it. And Parks just kind of didn't think that there was going to be a feasible way to do that. I know that that Principal Santos is still looking at procuring funds to be able to have a camera or two on the front end of the school, and then cooperating with HPD. That's still that's still in the works. It's just a funding issue at this point.
Yeah, but that's the Department of Education. We're talking about the Department of Parks and Recs, which is two different entities. I try to separate the school from the park because sometimes we get that confused. But because at night, when the lights go out at Kalihi Park, the people from the gambling place that we shut down are now coming to the park. So I didn't understand the logistics of that. Parks and Recs don't have anybody who can wire up motion lights and cameras, seeing how the park is completely lit up and all the electrical boxes and stuff are already there. So I didn't understand that concept, that they can't wire up a camera or they can't take out a light and put in motion lights. That's what I'd understand, because I know we got great electricians working for the city of Honolulu.
Yeah, so I completely understand where you're coming from. It's kind of not really our place to go back and forth with their decision, right? That we did the site visit, we put our wish list in, some of it we got and some of it we didn't. So, you know, like I said, the other lights in that park are going to be much brighter. We have not been told no. There's at brightening the lights, those legacy dim lights that are in the comfort station, and keeping those on all night. All of the lights along Kalihi Street there have all been brightened. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that the motion lights are going to happen within the park.
Yeah, I understand not questioning them, but you know, believing in them when they tell you something is one thing. You know, I believe like I just don't believe that they should give me alternative facts and I should just take it upon myself to say, that's true, we don't have any electricians. Because motion lights is what will keep people out the park at night, because people are in the park. It's so dark, people can be raped and anything in that park at night. And I guess we're gonna have to wait for an incident to happen like at Wilson Tunnel before we get lights. So I'll just stand by and wait for an incident to occur, and then we'll get the lights and the cameras to keep somebody else from being raped or whatever it is going to happen to them. But that's fine, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Rojas.
Yes, I want to add in something. Also, along the street by the school, there's a no parking. It says no parking sign there, and also they use that area when, I guess, when it's nighttime or anytime. There's cars being parked there. Is there a reason why they put a no parking sign there? By
Is
the
it a new
school?
sign
right
on
across the
Kalihi
gate.
Street?
It's on Kalihi Street, next to the school, next to the trees. Yes, and across the game room, used to be the game room. There's also a bus stop, and there's a no parking sign there, but there's a lot of cars that's parked there. Now, I think those cars that's being parked there is being utilized by those people who hangs out around that area at night and during the day. But it says no parking sign.
Okay, so I think I understand better now. So there's a no parking sign, but people are illegally parking in the area.
Yes. So what we gonna do about that? Can we do something about it? Is there a purpose why we didn't why we put in a no parking sign there? It's like almost covers up. Go ahead.
That's the bus stop where the no park. Me and you talked about that they need to move the bus stop to the corner,
Right.
so that the bus can come in and park with a red zone. And that's, I think we're talking about making that viable for the teachers to park, because they can park like 20 cars on that street. I'm thinking that's what you're talking about when you're going to talk about the parking situation. But the only no parking sign is on that whole street, because it's illegal to park. When you get next to the bus stop, then they have a no parking sign there in the middle of the street. So I didn't understand that concept of putting the bus stop in the middle, because during the day when the bus can't get in to park people and people are walking in the street to get to the bus, instead of the bus stop being at the corner where you can't park and the bus have the right of the way to come in by itself. But that's the only one I know.
Which corner are we thinking?
It's right next to the park, and it's midway to the park by the first gate.
Oh yeah, I
And-
know where the bus stop is now. Which
Right.
corner? Like we're talking the corner before the park, right? I'm trying
Well,
to think of
before the park,
street
putting the
name.
bus stop on Kalihi and Nobrega Street, which
Nobrega,
means the
yeah.
bus comes in and the bus have all of that to park, and it can put people off on the curve instead of dropping them off in the middle of the street.
Okay, so that's two different issues, but we can definitely put in a request to look at moving the bus stop so that we can utilize more parking on the street.
But the point is, if we're gonna put a no parking sign there, and then people are parking there, period, are we gonna let people park there, or why are we gonna put the sign there for no parking? They're gonna be parking there anyway.
Okay, well, they're not. If there's a no parking sign, obviously they shouldn't be parking there, and it's an
Exactly. So what can we do about it? There's
It's
so
an
many
enforcement
cars.
issue. If you see cars out there illegally parked, you can call 911 and tell HPD to come out and enforce. I mean, that's what they asked to do. Also, if you think that it's a, ongoing issue, that it's happening nightly or frequently, our office can put in a request for patrol to cite people that are parking over there.
Please do.
So it's by the tree, you're saying, like closer to the park.
It's along the whole road. It's along the whole back me up on that one. I think it's right across the used to be the game room and the apartment.
Yep, I know right.
And then
Yeah,
along
where the
along
big
the
tree is.
school, all the way down to the community park
Okay,
on Kalihi Street.
so we're gonna put in a request to HPD to take a look at enforcing over there for the
Yes, we
illegal.
should enforce. Yes, please. Let's enforce that law. No parking
Okay.
sign. And I think there's gonna be less people hanging around during nighttime. And I think it's a concern if it's not even safe to walk there during, like I want to walk during my time for security walk there, but there's a lot of people there, hanging out. And they're utilizing that street to park so that they can hang out.
Great. I'll let them know everything that you just said.
Yes, please. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Any more questions from the board for Council Member Dos Santos Tam's office? Seeing none, questions from the community, Mr. Yap. Please unmute.
I thought the plan was to move the crosswalk that was in the middle where the parking sign is. To move the crosswalk down towards Nebraska Street and move the bus stop down that way too. Because they actually, at one time, that was the crosswalk. So I thought the crosswalk was supposed to be moved because there's no crosswalk until you get to the other street. You get to Monty Street. Because I thought the crosswalk there's only one crosswalk at the north end of Kalihi School, and there's nothing before Kalihi School. So by the store by Casey Market where I used to live, I thought the crosswalk was going to go over there.
I know that we are getting some speed mitigation measures coming. I'm not sure about the crosswalk, but I can ask all of these questions. I can put in a request
I
for
think the
information.
crosswalk was supposed to be moved because they took away
to cross at Nobrega Street, to cross Kalihi Street at Nobrega. Okay.
Yeah, because I thought was that there was going to be a crosswalk at two corners. Because they took away the crosswalk where they're talking about where the no parking is.
Out of the middle of the street, and you thought it would go over to a more appropriate, like probably at the corner. Let me find out for you. I have not had that. I have not heard that, but that doesn't mean that it's not part of the.
That was before
Tyler. Yeah.
Tyler's time, so I think it was.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the federal government or an agency removed the crosswalk right there, and we, the community, requested to have a crosswalk by Nobrega Street on Kalihi, but nothing happened, and we didn't know if that was really requested or not. We didn't get any response from the previous council member. So if you could make a follow-up on that, Lynn, we would really appreciate it.
Good. That's good commentary. So the community already has organized in support of this. These conversations have already been. So maybe it is a request for follow-up. Okay, very good. Thank you.
That is correct.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Yap.
Thank you. Any more questions for Council Member Dos Santos Tam's office? Seeing none, thank you very much, Lynn. See you next month.
See you next month.
Okay, moving on, we have the state elected officials. Governor Josh Green's representative, Deputy Director Kristen Sakamoto.
Aloha, everyone, and Happy New Year. Just a quick I wanted to share quickly part of the governor's message. So now that the 2024 legislative session is upon us, the governor has introduced his budget for the biennium. The proposal allocates funds addressing the Maui recovery from the wildfires and also reduces the risk of future wildfires. Other key initiatives that you can find funding for in the governor's budget includes helping our financially struggling families through tax breaks, creating more housing, easing homelessness, expanding access to healthcare, improving education, and mitigating the effects of climate change. I dropped a note in the chat with a link to the governor's message. That's all I have to share right now, but I'm open to any questions or concerns that you would like me to take back. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the community for the governor's office? I see and hear none. Thank you very much, Deputy Director Sakamoto.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have Senator Donna Mercado Kim.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Perrin. I'm going to be Senator Kim's legislative aide this session. The community report has been sent digitally to the neighborhood board members, but anyone who also would like a copy can send their email to the senator's office. I just have a few items to touch upon concerning the community report. Majority of Senator Kim's staff is new this year. Like I said, I'm the legislative aide and I'll be with you guys. The opening of the 2024 legislature, the session is coming up next week, Wednesday, 1 week from today. The Senate will be open at 10 a.m. Senator Kim is proud to continue to be serving you among the rest of District 14, and her committee assignments will remain the same across her 4 committees. However, as has been customary in these years of austerity, and especially with Maui in mind, festivities during floor session will be foregone and activities will be limited to legislative business. While there is no floor program, you are more than welcome to visit us in the afternoon on opening day, as well as any time throughout the year. Just as a reminder, we are located in room 218. Senator Kim wanted to detail how you can be involved in the lawmaking process with the session coming up, so details about how to participate can be found in the report. I wanted to give you all an update on the feral chickens. The final report of the Feral Chicken Project working group recommends a partnership between the city and county and the state to further subsidize the cost. And they also recommend a public education campaign to broaden the focus to also assist with feral cats and birds alongside the chickens. In Monday's hearing with the Department of Agriculture, Senator Kim was able to follow up with the DOA to work on legislation to be introduced this upcoming session. If anyone is experiencing problems with feral chickens, contact information for who can help you can be found in the community report. Finally, just some community updates. Senator Kim in December joined Lieutenant Governor Luke to read to pre-K students at elementary schools, and they also donated backpacks full of school supplies. There are a few Keikioka Aina activities happening in January and February. Details can be found in the report. And lastly, there is a Keiki Storytime and Crafts at the Kalihi Palama Public Library happening on January 9th and 13th, but more details can be found in the report. Is there any questions that I can take back to the senator?
Good job, Lindsay. Any questions from the board? Mr. Franklin.
Okay, my question is, I know there's a feral chicken problem, and we know our city council refused to correct the animal nuisance law because most of the chickens around our area lives on people's houses and coops every day. So, and we keep blaming it on feral chickens. But for the senator, I think even the feral chicken policy, you don't exterminate feral chickens, right? What do you do with them?
So for the chickens, as I know, the city and county has contracted Sandwich Isle Pest Solutions, and they informed us that they dispatch the chickens and dispose of them humanely. That is all I have.
So they dispose of the chickens. Because I was told that it was just basically don't feed the chickens. That's what the policy is now. But now the policy is that Sand Island comes out, catch the chickens, and they dispose of the chickens.
I believe if you call and let them know, then they can come and do that for you. But yeah, as a general rule, I think the policy is not to
So,
feed them.
so if we have a problem, we are to call Sand Island, like a group of feral chickens, and Sand Island will come out and they will set up to catch up the feral chickens like in our neighborhood.
Correct.
Okay. Say it again. Oh, I was talking about the feral chickens. About the cats, I guess you can ask about the cats. But yeah, I guess with that, because the problem is that, as I've been stating for 2 years, that our city council refused to update the animal nuisance law, which means that the police can come out and the police have to do nothing and they can walk away from it. But then our city council won't revise the law, even though there's tons of loopholes in it. But everybody keeps blaming everything on the feral chickens. But all the chickens in my neighborhood lives on people's property inside coops. So they are not feral.
No,
They
I
are
believe
pets.
they're just talking about the feral ones, and they have a working group going, and they're hoping to pass a new legislation to.
All right, I just thought I would ask you since you brought it up. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any more questions from the board? For Senator Kim's office? Seeing none, any questions from the community? Who goes first? Mr. Song and Shirley next.
Hi. My name is Shirley Maestro, and Senator Kim is she's oh Senator Kim is oversees the like okay. Well, on December 16, 2023, that was the graduation day. Yeah? I went to the graduation at Stan Sheriff Center. And I was sitting in FFGG, I guess, up there because I could kind of see the stage down below. But there was this 3 very nice looking people who were sitting in that same row as I was sitting. But then the ceremony started at 9, and this gentleman, he stood up and he was going out downstairs. I kind of have a picture, but they're all the lodges upstairs. They have like seats below, right? They have like seats below. But you know what? The folks don't have any markers or anything there. So what happened was the gentleman, I think when he came, and I was sitting at the end seat, but I turned all the way that he could pass here. But that corner, I think he stepped there, and that indentation, because it goes below, and he fell, he flipped, and he went. Oh, he just slid right across the what you call this the top part, and he hit this wall and he went rolling down the steps. And afterward, after we just kind of checked, but good thing somebody up in the in the audience that they was a nurse, so she went there to help, and I guess the safety committee came, or whoever, security. And then, but later when I saw the gentleman, he had all band-aids patched by his eye, and it was all swollen, But I noticed that there's no railing. I mean, like where the this part, and then he stepped in this corner, and then he fell. I mean, he just tripped, and he wasn't a big man. He was very thin, but he was tall, And he went across, and this platform. I noticed like everybody would just come down to this platform, like here, and then there's no railing or anything for anybody. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if that's supposed to be like that or what, but all I know that they don't have no those grippy things or whatever to show that this part, that it goes down. Yeah.
Yeah, for safety reason, we should bring that up to the UH administration.
Okay, thank you.
That day at graduation, what happened that day at graduation was, I mean, like, my friend graduated as she got her doctor degree, but they were together with the underclassmen. So man, it was long from 9 to like 12 noon. Then after that, we had to walk. They use two fields now. They use the football field and the baseball field. So we had to walk to the baseball field. But I noticed, like, and there was her auntie who was there, elderly lady. I mean, man, they had to walk so far, and when we went back to the parking structure, I didn't know, but the elevators were out. The elevators was out of order for the. I mean, so that's why I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up, Shirley. But we're wondering though, if you could email that to us. There, in front of the camera. Yeah. Just for not too close. A little bit farther. Getting better. It's blurry. So anyway, if you could email that to Senator Kim's office and CC me, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Sung.
So my question is about my name is James Sung. My question is, where do we dispose of these animals? If the chickens and cats, the feral chickens and cats, because I can catch them. I caught 30 chickens one year, and I just gave it to my yard man to dispose of. Who lives by Franklin, by the way. But where do we dispose of it besides giving it to my yard man?
So the question was, where do we dispose these cats and feral chickens? Was the question of Mr. Song. So probably she can find that out and get back to us next month.
Yes, I will find that out for you.
Oh, Miss Lynn has the answer. Go ahead, Lynn.
I'm not sure that I have. Well, there is not a. Thank you, Lindsay, and thank you for Senator Kim for setting up this working group. I've attended a few. I would like to say that the state's involvement in this is that it's in recognizing the problem and hopefully getting some more funding. It's so there is a problem. There is a program in place. You can go to the Department of Customer Services. There is a contract in place. That contract is intended for the professionals to come out and get the chickens and dispose of them. They have a whole program to be able to do that. There is not, there's also within that program a cost for traps, and then you would turn them over to the contractors. So what we're hoping to get to is a point where we can incentivize it a bit more so that there's not so much of a cost involved. So I hope that kind of answers the question. So again, this is a city program facilitated through the Department of Customer Services. If you contact them, then they can give you all the resources that you need. The state is involved in the level that they're going to try to get some funding so that we can move forward on mitigation more quickly.
Thank you for that answer, Lynn. I hope it helps Mr. Song. And maybe we can bring more specific answers next month. Thank you. Any more questions from the community for Senator Kim's office? I see and hear none. Thank you very much, Lindsay. See you next month.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, I have Representative John Mizuno here. I mistakenly add him when I was making this agenda. Yeah, I also forgot to mention the presentation on number 4, the Kaiva Elementary School Stream Project. That was a mistake by yours truly. And with Representative John Mizuno, I would like to just say that he resigned from his seat and he joined the governor's cabinet as a statewide homeless coordinator effective January 2nd, 2024. So his seat is currently vacant and the governor would announce the replacement hopefully soon or maybe next week. We don't know. So we'll keep you posted next meeting. Okay, moving on, we have our standing committee reports. First, we have our State and County Budget Committee, Chair Ethan Dayton.
Hi, Chair. I have no report. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have the Sidewalk, S-Curve, and Transportation Committee, co-chairs Mr. Hussey and Mr. Dayton. Mr. Hussey, do you have any report?
Sorry about that. No report, though we will be scheduling a meeting in the next 2 weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to our Beautification Committee, Mr. Franklin.
Hello. My report is during this week, we went to Kalihi in Nalani. There's there's 3 vacant lots there that are overgrown. I mean, really overgrown. So I have contacted the 311, which I advise everybody to use. They have started residential complaints against all 3 lots to either find them and to take care of these 3 lots. Across the street is a bus bench that's completely out of control. So I made a complaint against them to get that cleaned up and reported other signs that are down in the area. So we have got most of all of our signs in our area replaced on our street. And I advise anyone, if you have a sign in your area that's faded, please go to 311 and take a picture and put that sign in there. And I say go to 311 because 311 will give you a complaint number and you can track it yourself until they put that sign up. That's what we should do in our neighborhood as we drive around to beautify our neighborhood. Anytime you see something that you believe should be taken care of, please take a picture, go to 301, upload it, and then when you come back to the board, you can tell the board that this problem has not been taken care of and you have made this complaint over 60 days, and then we'll go to our councilman office for that complaint. I also contacted the Trust for Public Land to see if they would help us out, and because I want to do all our parks and do green space, but they are at this time not available. So I'm working with another nonprofit called Second Chance and Life Foundation because we cannot donate money to the board, nor can we do fundraising to do things in our neighborhood. We have to work with a nonprofit. So I'm working with a nonprofit now so I can make the green space at Kalihi School safe because that grass is completely unsafe. You can break your ankle running in that grass. And we have 450 kids at Kalihi School who only get that tiny area to play on of hard concrete. So I was working with Parks and Recs because you know, if you work with OE, then they got a different rule. Then you work with Park and Rec and they got different rules, but the park belongs to Park and Rec. So I'm trying to work with this nonprofit. I've Costco, I've contacted Walmart to tell them that we are a diverse neighborhood who needs their help to improve our parks in our area by making them look like the land trust. If you want to see something beautiful, go to their website. They work all over the world. They just can't help us right now. So I have contacted them to do that. We stated about Lynn, the two safety signs on Kalihi Boulevard in front of Kalihi School, they do not work, but everything's in place and we don't want a kid, so we're working to update that for the beautification committee. And then after we do all this, the next thing we're gonna do with beautification committee, we're gonna try to have someone adopt a bus bench. So when you drive by bus benches, we would like to put canopies over the bus benches, which we already have in storage rotting over there at the bus station. We just want them to please use them and give them to us and put them on the street. So when you're standing at the bus stop, that you don't get completely wet before you go to work. You have some shelter. And they're already bought and paid for. We're just saying, since they're bought and paid for, can we please have them? So we're working with them for the adopt a bus bench regulations on that for the beautification committee. All right. Thank you for the time.
Thank you very much for the wonderful report. Moving on, we have the Sustainability Committee, Mr. Rojas.
Happy New Year to everyone in the community, the neighbors. I would like to encourage our neighbors who has vacant lots in our community to at least they to plant something on the property, because it's only like a sore thumb. There's like overgrown trees and overgrown grasses, and I think if we use it wisely, I think we could produce more food for our sustainability. But please contact me if you guys want to know about gardening or more into planting productions. My number is 1-808-387-2163. And hopefully that we're kind of working on getting a website for our Kalihi Valley neighborhood for sustainability. So we're looking forward to that this 2024. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Moving on to our RBZ committee. Co-chairs Alan Kumalai and Lei Aloha Tumbaga.
No report.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's go to our approval of the regular meeting minutes. The meeting was November 8, 2023. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
You second, Mr.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Any discussion on our minutes? Any edits? I actually see one, just a typo maybe, on number 4. Del Rosario. You see that? The R. There's no R. Rosario. Yeah. You see it? Yeah, second R. Second R. Any more edits on our minutes? Seeing none, let's go for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. Let's go to the chair's report. Well, our neighborhood board number 16 participated the parade last December, and it was who were the participants? A few of us participated and some community members. And thank you very much, Mr. Yap, for allowing us to join you. And hopefully you can let us join again next year. It was so fun that we had to greet all the people watching us. And of course, our neighborhood board assistant and our executive secretary, Lloyd Yoninaka, was there as well. That was very good. Thank you very much. So hopefully more community members will join us next year. And I have to recognize Mr. Franklin.
Really quickly, yeah, I talked to the neighborhood commission, Lord. He stated that Spencer would get us more banners because they have the money for it now. So he said we can't have 10, but we can probably get 5. I also spoke to him about the shirts that they gave us, and I was wondering why Kalihi Hookah Board 16 couldn't make up their own shirts. And I told him this is a really nice shirt if I was going to be a security guard, that, you know, I could just put security on my back because it's a beautiful polo shirt. But if you're walking in the dark with it, it doesn't reflect being, you know, the neighborhood. Maybe we should design our own shirts that's bright with colors that says Kalihi Neighborhood Board 16. I did express to him, I understand it was a shirt from the 50th anniversary. I said maybe they were left over, but it doesn't represent Kalihi Neighborhood Board 16. He also stated for Layla, who has already put our social media packs together, we have a Facebook Neighborhood Board 16, and she got us all across there. But I learned from Mr. Lloyd that we also get a website for free. So Layla, we do get a website. They will give us a website. We just have to call them. So Kalihi Neighborhood Board 16, we'll have our own website. We'll have our own Facebook, and we'll have our own place to go. Layla is working very hard. She has before and after pictures of things that we asked for on the board that was completed by all city entities that we can show a before and after picture of. So those are the things that we are working on that I got clarification today from the neighborhood commission on that. And hopefully we will get new shirts. If not, I will wear this as a security guard shirt. So other than that, thank you.
Thank you very much. We actually wore those shirts during the parade, and it wasn't that bad.
Oh, we had a banner together.
And we had the 2 banners, and Mr. Kumalai created the banner with the lights. It was very nice. Thank you very much for doing that for Neighborhood Board 16, Mr. Kumalai. Oh, and we also had popcorns to give away to the kids, and that was from the courtesy of Mr. Simeon and Kathy Rojas and the family. Thank you very much for doing that. And the Neighborhood Board Commission also provided those candy canes, and we gave it out to the kids who were watching the parade. And it was so fun. Maybe we can give more next year. Okay. Next, we have our announcements that our next meeting is Wednesday, February 14, 2024 at 7 p.m. So if you plan to have a Valentine's Day celebration, plan ahead, please. And come to the meeting. Our broadcast meetings, neighborhood board meetings are aired on Olelo Channel 49 on the 4th Saturday of the month at 6 p.m. and the 1st and 3rd Sunday of the month at 9 a.m. You can find our handouts or archives. It's written here on our agenda. So you can just click on that if you go online so you can see the archive folders. Yeah. Okay, any more announcements? Seeing none, thank you very much. Happy New Year, everyone, and see you next month. This meeting is now adjourned.